Good morning, good afternoon, and of course, good evening. What we thought we'd do, we'd have a little chat about some pinball machines. It's all change. It's all change at Flipperama Towers. Since the last time we sat down, did a video like this, Dolly Parton has returned in her rightful place. I've bought a Total Nuclear Annihilation. Got that. That's not got a rightful place yet. And thank you to the generosity of our channel sponsor, Pinball Heaven, over there. We have a Looney Tunes behind it. You can probably see a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The name, Barrio's big ass motherfucking barbecue, something like that. I can't remember. I can't think of what the name is. Right?
Big O challenge or whatever.
That's it. That's the one. That's the one. And also we've got a John Wick. There are so many pinball machines here. I've actually forgotten what's going on. So what we thought we'd do a little chat about it. So as a ends, there's almost too much to remember. So I thought maybe Enzo could pick my brain. I could answer some questions. We got some footage. Little bit of messy footage. There's a lot of videos to come. Not only that, I've got a really good video coming up from I did a day out at Tilt, which is the place to play pinball in Birmingham. Had a really good day out there. Got a video for that as well. Loads and loads of videos actually to come out. So we've had a little bit of a hiatus on the channel. We've been uploading little bits and pieces, but now we're back in the swing of it, so to speak. And one thing I do want to do, Enzo, is, well, first of all, welcome, my friend. Welcome. Not seeing you in a little while. It's all is it all changed behind you? Was it turtles?
No, I've had turtles for a while because every time I always shoot from a different area of the room. But the Guardians I got at Christmas. I got a Star Wars comic. No, everything else is pretty much the same, really.
Is the Star Wars comic, is that the Pro?
No, it's a premium.
Okay, so it's got the biform that goes around it. Okay.
Yeah, what a game.
Really?
Yeah, I'm so happy with it. I only ever played the Pro on the original one, and something about that artwork being the movie artwork, it just feels a little bit unfinished. It's so hard to explain. Like I feel like it's missing some assets and stuff. But then when you get the comic one, I don't know, maybe it's a different feel, and it just feels a bit more acceptable as a Star Wars game. But yeah, it's just I can't put my finger on it.
What about the plunge shot on it? Does it drain from the plunge?
No, I haven't had that.
Oh, really?
Experience? No.
Okay. Oh, well, you know about it if you did. You know about it.
Yeah, it's the only game that I've ever been able to score 1 billion points on.
Really?
Yeah.
That was just dodging the asteroids, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's actually really cool. I like that video mode, but it's a great game. I'm really happy with it. And
it's one of the better video modes. It is one of the better. I'm not a great fan of video modes. I don't think they're needed anymore. Because you've got better games on your phone. But that works. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Well, you need to stop talking about it. Because if anyone talks about a pinball machine that I like too much, it makes me want one. And this. I said to John yesterday. John is making some wonderful mods at the moment. Actually, he's making I don't know what's secret and what's not. So let's just say he's making a really, really nice Godzilla mod at the moment, amongst other mods. And I was saying it's a disease. This is a disease, right? This hobby, because I've just listed all these machines that I've got here, and I should probably point out that Deadpool is tombstoned at the moment because I don't have any room to put it up, right? So I've got all these magnificent games, and I was still there talking to John last night and thinking, I wonder what else I would like. And I started talking about what else I wanted. Well, I've got a serious issue. I've got a serious mental spending problem, basically.
Yeah, it is a disease, that's for sure. Is it a good one? Is it a bad one? Look, it's an extremely addictive hobby, that's for sure.
Really is. What are you playing most at the moment?
Probably Bond, Star Wars, Venom, Avengers.
Okay.
Yeah, really feeling those. I'm trying to learn Foo Fighters more because in the local comp that I play, it gets picked quite a bit to be played on. And then I'm trying to learn Turtles more because nobody picks it in the comps because they hate it.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, I stand a chance on that one, so I'm gonna, learn that one.
Excellent.
So,
yeah.
But I was getting back to your situation. I was more impressed that it feels like we only spoke about John Wick a month ago, and you've already got one.
I know. Look, it was amazing how it happened. So there's only 2 in the country. To be fair, I mean, there's only one Looney Tunes in the country. There's only one Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the country. There's only one Barrio's Big Ass Motherfucking Barbecue in the country, and there is only one. So there's only 2 John Wick. So it's incredible. I mean, I'm so lucky, because I've got them just to be able to do videos on to test them. I'm gonna have a few people round as well. I just want, it seems like such a privilege. I want to try and get people around. So I'm almost going to do like a day over here, which I'm going to try and split in 2 because it's only live in a small house. I've got 3-bedroom semi-detached house, small house. So I think if I can get 6 or 7 people over sort of in the first part of the day, and 6 or 7 people over in the second part of the day, then I can make some pizza and stuff, and gets everybody playing the games. But yeah, the John Wick is an interesting story. So we went to Electrocoin. So Electrocoin are the importer basically in this country for Stern games. So we went there, and there was Doug was there from Stern, which was really nice. I'd seen him at EAG during the a few months ago now, which is when a lot of the stuff was released. So he was there, and John, who runs Electrocoin, basically he was speaking with Phil, who owns mentioned not names here, but basically Phil from Pinball Heaven and John from Electrocoin. They had a little chat, and Phil said to John, "Why don't you let him have to take that game?" I said, "Well, I don't mind." And he said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, he'll do some videos on it." So, and that's honestly how it's happened. So
that's a pro, isn't it?
It's a pro, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then to be fair, even Doug from Stern said, obviously he thought the premium was a lot better. So I've only really got to spend some time on that. We'll go straight into John Wick today. And then there it is. There. Enzo, it's a tough game. It's a tough game. It's the shots. You can see how tough it is there. I've just put some bits of footage in now, just of me playing it and whatnot, just to show you a few different angles. The shots are incredibly tough. That ramp I just hit there is a hard one to hit. I don't think I've hit that with the left flipper yet. Actually, the premise of the game is pretty damn good in terms of you get missions, and obviously you're an assassin, you're John Wick. And I do love this. Me just trying to move the camera around now. As I said, this is pretty rudimentary footage here, so I'll just try and show you as much as I can. I love the fact that Ian McShane is doing the call outs. That gives it a really nice authenticity. What's he said? If you muck up, he tells you you're shit, by the way. He says there's something wrong with your aim and stuff like that. And, I'm afraid you are incommunicado. And he starts telling you all this crap, letting you know how shit you are, basically. For me, the game. So I do not quite enjoy the theme. I do enjoy the theme, even though I don't know John Wick very well. It's very easy to get into the fact that you are an assassin. So that part works. The call outs work. For me. You see, I don't know if you saw that in a loop there. We were talking about Star Wars earlier. Yes, it's got a little bit of that going on with it. Actually, to be fair, you see a decent flow here. When you dial in the shots, it does have decent flow, but the shots are very, very tight. And I do feel the game is for better players than me. Otherwise, it's always difficult to call a game clunky because it's clunky if you're missing the shots, basically. But I'm pleased enough with this. There's watching it now, it seems better than when I was playing it. There's actually some of the shots, the ramps are going over there. There seems a decent little bit of flow there on it.
It's a bit of catch-22, isn't it? Because you kind of look at it going, well, they make pinballs because a lot of them end up in the world in like pubs and stuff like that. And being a hard game means that they're going to churn their money over because it's going to end quicker and more people will play. But at the same time, they probably design them for better players. It's very fan-based, obviously. You can see it's a very, bit of a it looks like a Steve Ritchie shot kind of design fan layout. And even the artwork in the middle kind of looks a little bit like Getaway, funny enough.
It does adjust, you're right, yeah.
Yeah. But I think everything I've seen, like I love that whole neon noir thing, especially the green plastics at the bottom.
Yes.
You know, and even what they did with the city, you know, again, people go, yeah, they could have done more. They could have done more. I think, again, people forget that they are a company that's there to make money. So they're not going to go full load like Spooky have to, or how JJP have to. Stern don't have to go overboard with these games. And I think it's enough. You know, would I have liked to have seen maybe an underplay field on this one? Maybe. But everyone is saying that it plays well. The shots are tight. But I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about it. So, you know, gameplay-wise, I think they could have made the building a little bit bigger, personally.
To be fair, in real life, it's a good size. I would say that. Yeah. If you certainly don't get an impression when you're looking at it in real life. Yeah, I've got no complaints with that building at all. I don't really have any. My only two complaints with the game are my problem and not the game's problem. Number one, I'm not into John Wick as a, you know, wouldn't be in my top. Wouldn't be on my top 200 films. Never mind anything else. And the shots are a bit tight. Well, that's my problem. It's because I'm not good enough. So, but yes, when it's going through the ramps and stuff like that, it's a shame because a lot of them, I do quite like games. So, you know, particularly some of them with tight shots. And I'd like to like Houdini, but the shots are too tight. Led Zeppelin, but the shots are just a little bit too tight for me.
Black Knight.
No, I've no desire to like Black Knight.
No, the shots are way too tight.
Yeah, but they're very down the play. They're very low down the playfield as well.
Yeah, the playfield's really short.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, if you're a shit player, you can't play Black Knight. I can't. I don't think I've ever scored more than 10 million points on Black Knight.
Game of Thrones is like that, actually. If you played that.
Yeah, but Game of Thrones is a little bit more forgiving, I think. I actually played it on Thursday night in the comp, but I think, yeah, I mean, look, I will say I agree with you. I think this game's probably targeted at a bit more, you know, pinball players that have been playing it for a while.
Yeah.
But at the same time, knowing that it's going to go into pubs and it is a theme that will attract a lot of people because everyone knows the films. See, for me, John Wick is in my top 50 films. The franchise is, you know, is so awesome in my opinion. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm curious to know. I think it will be good in a way where when people played Venom Pro, they said that they were really disappointed. But then when they played Venom Premium, it was a different game. This looks...
Yeah, well, you've got one. You've got a Venom. The shots in Venom are bloody easy. I've got to say that. They're very wide shots. Yeah.
And the Premium is a completely different game to the Pro.
What have you got?
I've got a Premium. Well, I've got an LE, but that's a Premium, basically.
Yeah. Layout. Sure.
But, yeah, that game, the Pro is empty. There's nothing on the right-hand side. It's boring. There's not enough shots. Whereas the John Wick Pro and Premium, apart from some of the toys, everything else is the same. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just not captured me. It's not captured my imagination. What I have to say, it's been an interesting one. So I'm in the market for a new game. I'm in the market for a new game. I can get a new game basically. And it's going to be interesting to have these four here. Now the thing was, I thought I'll get these four. Because it's tough, really, because there's so much choice. It is such a magnificent time to be in pinball. And if you're lucky enough to be able to get a new game, what a choice you've got. And I'm not going to spend my time bleating about games I don't like. If you can't find a game that you like, it's pointless moaning about ones you don't like. If you can't find a game that you like, you're probably in the wrong hobby. There will be one there for everybody. I'm quite sure of that, right? And I remember when I did my first couple of Elton John videos. There's a lot of blowback on that. Some, you know, the feistiest messages I've ever had on this channel were when I did Elton John, right? And I thought it's a magnificent game. I thought this is brilliant. I loved it. I wasn't
feisty messages. How so?
People didn't believe that I liked it. I mean, Spencer will tell you this. So years and years ago, I used to do singing. I used to be a singer. That's what I used to be, a cabaret singer and stuff like that. I used to do an Elton John set years and years ago. I used to do an Elton John set. I really like Elton John. So the theme was always going to appeal to me. Anyway, I like his music. I love a lot of Steve Ritchie games, not Black Knight, as we've established. But I really liked it. I love the Frenchy artwork. That game was always going to appeal to me. There's bells and whistles, and I love. I like bright colours. I do. I really like bright colours and glitter and all. Bring it on. You know, all of that stuff. Love it. But so somebody said, he basically said, I don't believe that you like this game. He said, well, I think you're just saying that you like this game because basically Pinball Heaven are giving you the game, and I never fully understood what shilling was, but he accused me of shilling, basically of pretending that the game had more value than it actually did. And well, it really pissed me off, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought, because it wasn't true, right? It absolutely wasn't true. And at the same, relatively close to that, I'd actually had a Venom in here, which obviously is also sold by Pinball Heaven. I slated it. You remember the Venom video? I said I've no interest in this at all. Yeah. So I was being as honest as I could. So I really liked that bit. There was such good competition at the time. And then really closely, I had Pulp Fiction and I had Elton John in, and I loved them both. And since they've both gone, I know I'm going to get a Pulp Fiction, but no one knows when they're going to get their Pulp Fiction, as it stands at the moment. And I've been thinking back to Elton John and how good it was. So, but obviously it's a big commitment. It's more expensive than other games. So what I thought to myself was, I may well get an Elton John at some point. And my point being that shows how much I do think about it, and I wasn't being. And I think the fact that so many people now like it and so many people have bought it shows that I think JJP have really upped their game.
Well, I'll tell you something interesting. So there's a lot of people in Australia that I know that I would never have thought that they would have bought an Elton John, and they have all bought an Elton John. All 5 of them are people that I thought would have never bought one, and 2 of them claim that it's the best game that they have in their collection.
Yeah, I mean it's great. I'll do it. Now we're doing videos again. I'll get back to the top 50 at some point. Yeah, and it will, you know, it's no, I'm you know, it doesn't matter. I don't know, but it's there. It's a bloody good game. It's a bloody good game, and I was right. I thought that was a real purple patch for games. Then some really good games that were coming out. So I thought maybe I'll get that. And it's interesting you saying that, actually, because I also think that's reflected in the Pinside Top 100. A lot of reviews on there. People are now saying, okay, this is a great game, but there was a lot of pushback at the time. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll go back and get that. Then when these games were coming in, I thought, oh, okay. Because I went to that EAG when I did the video, and Pulp Fiction was there, and Elton John was there, and they really stole the show. Also, you also had Labyrinth. There's the first time to play Labyrinth as well. It's the first time I'd seen a Godfather, and Galactic Tank Force was there. And I've got to say, I think I did a couple of videos back to back on a Jaws Premium and a Jaws Pro. And because Elton John was so good, and because Pulp Fiction was so good, Jaws went under the radar a bit. And I think for me, it went onto the back burner. I've not played it since then until I went last week to go and play John Wick. And I could not stop playing Jaws. I couldn't stop. I just wanted to play Jaws more and more and more. And that is a film I do love. And I tell you what Jaws was doing, it was building atmosphere. It's building atmosphere all the time. I know people have criticised the shark's fin. I've got to be honest, I didn't care if shark's fin came. I've got to get that. Got to get that shark's fin. So I'm chum bucket, shark's fin. The shots seem generous. Sorry?
I thought you said cum bucket. That's all right.
I wasn't doing that. I didn't like it that much. So...
Jaws, Jaws is like, my kids love playing it because the shots are easy It's a good scoring game.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you scored 100 mil.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's atmospheric. It's got that night swim where everything goes dark.
Right.
And it does the night mode where you're swimming in the dark.
Brilliant.
So all the lights turn off in the game. The trans light turns off. It's got it is a game that I think even if you're not into the films, you will buy, because the films for me didn't like. I'm not a Jaws fan, but the machine is brilliant.
Sure, yeah. I mean, but so yeah, I was wowed by the game. So then it became a case of, oh, hold on a second, right? So now I've got a decision to make. I still would quite like an Elton John, but then I've got my eyes on Jaws. Now I've got these 4 games here now, and one of them is going to need to impress. You wouldn't know this, but I put my so I got a very, very mint, fully restored Theatre of Magic, and I put that up on for trade, but only for 2 games, as to be basically I will trade it for a fully restored Lord of the Rings or a Whitewater. Already had lots of others to sell it. Don't want to sell it. You know, it's got to be one of those. So, you know, I'm in those. But anyway, so I'm looking at these new games now. So now it's a case of on these games, one of them has the chance to impress me, if you like. So at the moment, I would say Jaws is probably just about winning. What have you got, the Pro or the Premium?
Premium.
How's that? So some people say the shot is hard to get up to the upper playfield, does it?
Oh, look, it's got to be pretty accurate, because if it starts hitting those side walls, it won't get up there.
Right.
But when it is up there, you know, hitting that real shot, it doesn't stay up there for long, and it kind of throws you off because the playfield's on the left, but the flipper's on the right of the upper playfield. So even though the upper playfield is on the left of the machine, the flipper on it is the right button. Whoops.
Star Wars.
I accidentally hit the flipper. So yeah, look, I think having the upper playfield makes a hell of a difference. I played a Pro, didn't do it for me.
Right. Well, that's what I played. I liked it. I liked it. Yeah. I don't think you can. So I don't like the artwork on the premium. So I'd probably
I'm going to get a Pro Translite for my premium.
Yeah, I think I want the sticker art as well.
Yeah.
You probably can't get the LE stuff, can you?
No, but I got a whole heap of mods for mine. So
have you already? Have you?
Yeah, playfields, twanger, some magnetic stuff for the cabinet. Yeah, shark fins, plastics. Yeah.
So I might, and then we got this. Yeah. But pinball has a habit of taking you in journeys you have no idea you're going to go on. So the last thing I expected was to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But anyway, before we get on to that, should we do a bit of Barry's big ass barbecue?
For a couple seconds, sure.
I've played 2 games.
Now, all right. I got to say, this theme, when I saw this theme, I was like, okay, I think what they're trying to do is hope that they can get this game into pubs and barbecue houses.
Yeah.
Because I don't see why the hell you would make it. But everyone I've spoken to and everyone that's played it is not a fan.
Yeah, it's funny you say you don't know why they made it. I thought that. I actually thought the pinball world doesn't need this game. And I don't. And by the way, it's not a bad game. I don't know what the price point is on this. It's a very simple game. I mean, there's almost nothing on it. There are 2 ramps. There are 3 saucers, which basically become ball locks. So you have to individually lock them in there, which is it's a budget. I don't know what the price point is. It's a budget game. That's what I'm saying. I don't, if this is
probably 10 grand.
I can't imagine it would be. It's very
that's Australian.
Yeah.
What's that? That's like £6,000.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I was going to say, Super Hoops was about £5,000, £6,000. I think you'd be looking at something like that. I can't imagine anyone buying it. I'll tell you something. I bet I've not tried it. Just before we delayed doing this podcast, so as I could play a couple of games on this, so as I could film this sequence, just so we had something to show you. I bet my 10-year-old daughter likes this. I bet she does. The shots are really easy. I mean, you can already see I'm in multi-ball there straight away.
That's pretty colourful.
So yeah, I mean, it's just don't take it. You almost can't compare this to any other pinball machine aside from Super Hoops in the modern games. Aside from that, you are looking at really early games. I might have this wrong. My knowledge is not great. Maybe some System 11 games or something like that. Well, maybe when the early ramps were coming in, or I might have that wrong. My historical knowledge is not very good. I wouldn't pretend otherwise, but it's okay. It's look. I won't be buying this. No way, shape, or form. I can't imagine too many people will. But as you say, maybe it is. It was easy to understand. I've got to work my way up to being the pit boss or whatever, and get the ingredients for the stuff. It was okay. I thought, okay, I get it straight away. I understand what's going on here. So yeah, it wasn't without its merits. That's me touching the playfield. Playfield was nice. Actually, no, you couldn't feel the inserts or anything.
I mean, do you think this was because pinball's such a manly thing? Do you reckon they just were hoping to sell it because men love to barbecue and that they would get these into pubs and barbecue houses?
Well, you'd know you're an Aussie. You got the weather for it over there, so you love a good barbecue, and I think it's the same in the States. There's people are mad about cooking outside. We just don't have the climate. For fun, I've got it's not a green egg. I've got a ceramic barbecue. It's a copy of a green egg. I've got a pizza oven for outside as well. I can't use it that often, but it's June now and it's raining, so
you can freeze your pizzas.
So
you can freeze your pizzas
in the garden, yeah. Yeah. So I get it. I do understand, and crikey, I've watched some of these programs that they have from the States, these big steaks, and they flame. Oh, I mean, it looks gorgeous. I totally get it.
It's a very American thing. And I think maybe that's why the theme and the demographic, they probably thought it's only ever going to be for Americans, really. I don't even know if we're even getting them here in this. I think they are for sale in Australia. I don't know if they've sold any or not.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they sell one over here. I really, really would. But I also do wonder, because it was this was Barry Owsler's last game, and he sadly passed away halfway through. So I do think American Pinball, out of sort of respect to him, they wanted to continue it, and I do know that some of the proceeds from this, I think, are going to help Barry's family as well. And I think that they're so this is a goodwill gesture. From what I've heard, American Pinball's next game after this is possibly going to be a license, so that could be interesting. It shoots well. The game shoots well.
Yeah, I think collectors that like kind of rare things, especially, will probably buy it, maybe, because obviously it what do you call it? They'll go, we buy it because it's a limited run thing, or it wasn't that popular, or it's a bit rare. But I did hear that American Pinball is probably doing He-Man. That is what they've announced. And Whitewater 2.
Whitewater 2. I mean, Whitewater has to be one of the most addictive games I have ever played.
Yeah.
That's how they get that magic. I don't know if they would have been better off doing a remake of Whitewater. I wonder if that might have been, rather than Whitewater 2. If they've kept the shots the same and the rules are more or less the same, because the rules are pretty damn perfect on it. It's my favorite kind of game, in as much as it's got a short rule set that's hard to achieve.
Yeah.
I mean, funny enough, it's one of the reasons I like Pulp Fiction. I knew exactly what I had to do really quickly. Doing it is quite something else. And I think in many respects, Deadpool is like Deadpool. You know what you've got to do. The rules are clearly laid out. And I think in many respects, when you start getting to the deeper games, I think that's when I look at John Wick. I think, okay, there's a big, deep code to learn here. I'm never going to get there because the shots are so tight. I'm never going to get there. Whereas if we start looking at maybe the other games, the shots are wide here.
The ramps are wide. The shot,
there are a lot of shots on this game. So even today, I was playing on the Looney Tunes. The playfield multiplier, you have to basically, there's 4 flippers on it.
Yeah.
The playfield multiplier, you have to lift up. Have you got a Star Trek there?
The next gen?
No.
Oh, the Stern Star Trek?
Yeah.
No, I want one. I do want one. Yeah.
Right, okay. Basically, there's a shot where you basically lift up the middle flipper and you have to hit the ball underneath the middle flipper.
Yeah.
And it's a shot in there, yeah. So there's a few games that have got that. This has got it twice. On both the upper flippers, you can hit the shot underneath them. But there's one shot which you hit from, I don't know if I can stop this there. If you can see my cursor there at all.
Yep.
You can. Okay. So when my cursor is here, there's one upper flipper here where Wile E. Coyote is, and then you have another upper flipper here. You have to lift this one up. So the left flipper button would have that flipper up. With this one, you have to hit it in there underneath that one. That's how you get your playfield multipliers up. It's really neat. Really neat. And it's tempting. A good game tempts you into doing it. Now, obviously, it's the same. I don't know, actually. I haven't tested on Chainsaw Massacre if that's some playfield multiplier. Obviously, the same. All the shots are the same. They just do different things. So there's something quite a little subtle difference, actually, on this game. So what happens is when you have the captive ball here, on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if you hit the captive ball, it then lights the insert here for you to lock the ball. The ball goes round the orbit, and then there's a mechanism that lifts up. And I don't know if I'll be able to show you this. I'm not sure how well I'll be able to show you the ball lock. We're getting close to the ball lock. There you go. Right.
Yeah, at the top.
Right. So what happens is the ball will come around the orbit, and then it will lock in. This whole section lifts up. The ball goes up, and it drops in here. It locks in there. So it locks the balls in. All right. On the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you have to hit the captive ball a number of times, and it will light ball lock 1. Then you have to hit it again, it will lock ball lock 2. Hit it again, but ball lock 3. That's how you do it. Whereas little subtle difference on the Looney Tunes, you hit the captive ball, you think nothing's happening. But you have to hit it loads of times, then all ball locks are activated.
Wow.
So slightly difference in code, but similar shots. It's there are so many. I'm still learning the shots on it. I just feel there's a lot to learn on this game.
A question, you're lucky to have both of them side by side.
Yeah.
Because obviously they were criticized for doing this because there were people saying it's a cop-out because it's the same game. Ironically, I feel like even though it's the same shots, they're very different. Is that
the code's different?
Not even just the code, but they don't. I mean, I know the shots are the same, but I feel that they do feel like different games, even though the shots are the same.
They do feel like different games. They absolutely feel like different games. I don't just mean the modes are different. They're not even modes in the same sense. It's not like this one has a mode and this one's Daffy Duck and it takes 3 shots to complete the mode, and this one has a mode and it's leather base and it takes 3 shots to complete the mode. It's not even like that. They are very, very different.
Completely different.
So there's different ways of doing the modes. They all require different shots. I would almost suggest that Looney Tunes is more mode based than Chainsaw Massacre. There's more side missions in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. More side. It's very, very interesting actually.
I think it's a smart move. It's a smart move on their part because having 2 games that are identical code, mode, and everything is just a cop out. And I think having separate coders, because on Ultraman and Halloween, it was exactly the same thing, right?
I've never played Ultraman, but I played Halloween.
From memory, I think it was the one coder that did both.
Okay.
And everyone said it was a bit of a cop-out. So I think doing it this way, even though the shots are the same, they are 2 completely different games. And I know people in the comments will go, of course they are, because they're Looney Tunes and Texas, but they are... I don't think people that didn't. If let's say a stranger walks up to these, not knowing who Spooky is,
I'd say what you're doing in my shed.
Yeah, what are you doing? So what are you doing in my shed? Put some pants on. I'd be saying I don't think they would pick that the games are identical.
You'd have to point it out. I think that's really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Really, do you know what? I should test that out.
Yeah.
Because obviously people come around here who aren't into pinball.
Yeah, don't even mention it.
Do you know what? I got my mate coming around in a couple of days, and he'll have a game. He's not into pinball. He'll play a game or two. I'm going to see if he notices.
Yeah. I will guarantee you he doesn't. Because I think
the grinder might give it away. I got to say, yeah, because they are very similar, the mechs. But yeah, it's interesting. What I found interesting, Enzo, with this was when I did the video the other day to say, first impressions on these two games, and we will have more videos to come on these. We absolutely will. I just need to learn them more. When we did that, there were a number of people in the comments who said, I think Looney Tunes is the one for me. That's the theme for me. So I just naturally thought everybody, because, so a lot of people like the horror genre. Spooky loved the horror genre. Of course, look at the games they've done.
Yeah. I think it's nostalgia.
What, the Looney Tunes? Maybe.
Yeah.
I suspect. I've got to say, I mean, there's no barometer. There's no test quite like what happened to me today. And that was, I had 20 minutes and I played a game on Looney Tunes. And I thought, I'm going to play a game on Looney Tunes because I'm not good enough to play one game for 20 minutes yet. And I'm going to have a go on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then there's this mode. And I remember the cartoon. And it's, I remember it from years ago. That's pretty much the end of the video. I remember it from back in the day. And the opera singer is singing louder, and Bugs Bunny is like the conductor, and Bugs Bunny's trying to make the opera singer sing louder. And he's doing all it right. He's going louder and louder and louder. By hitting the shots, you've got to make him sing louder.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm going to have a go on this. Anyway, I did that. And then I've got that multi-ball as well. I locked everything for the multi-ball. And then I'm trying to do the playfield multipliers. So I had this game. I had by far my best game. 3.5 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow, brilliant. And what I did was I pressed the start button again. I didn't go and play Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I thought I've got to do that again because I didn't complete the mode. I didn't get the opera singer. So close, close. And it was really good. I tell you what, the orbits on those two games are like butter.
Yeah.
They really are. They have such good flow. They're exactly where they meant to be. So, and I've got to just go back to Jaws. That's the one thing I found about Jaws. All the shots were where they were meant to be. It just all felt like they were. It was really nice. But I felt the flippers are slightly underpowered, maybe on Jaws, particularly the middle flipper. But it was fine. I could live with that. I could adjust it. But yeah, it's I could learn to live with it basically. But yeah, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of pinball machine here. There's a lot of mechanisms in here. They are absolutely packed full. I still suspect, and I say this, I've no love for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Still not seen the film, and I don't know did you know that The Boys season 4 of The Boys is out now? Do you know that?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So so I'm even less likely to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre now because The Boys is out and the Euros is on, so the football's on.
Yeah.
I'm unlikely to. I still suspect I will end up liking Texas Chainsaw Massacre more because it seems like the game was designed. That was the game that was designed, and then I think Spooky might have done. Okay, let's do a family-friendly version. It just, it was clearly designed as a mincer first, and the girl in the refrigerator. That's cool. That on any, I don't care, any pinball machine on any level. That's cool. Yeah. That just works, and it's 4 ramps. It's 4 ramps and 4 flippers. And the last time I sort of looked at that and I felt that I felt there was so much packed into one game. And I'm not talking about Big Lebowski is still, for me, I've still never seen anything more packed into a game than that, really. So I don't want to talk about, I'm talking about 4 flippers and what you're looking at for something that might surprise you. I knew what I was getting when I bought Big Lebowski. There was no surprise, right? But the last time I was surprised was actually when I got Alien back here. and it was 4 flippers, stuff all over the place. I thought, wow, this game is absolutely packed. I didn't like the way it played. I thought it was a bit floaty. I didn't like the flippers. I didn't like there's a lot of things I didn't like about Alien at the time. But I thought it was incredible. When I looked at it, I thought it was incredible value. Just a packed. There was so much pinball machine there. And again, with Alien, they had that addictive mode where the thing is scanning. Boop, boop, where the aliens, where the aliens are coming towards you.
Yeah.
Wow. You know that it built drama. So I think they got
we
some
got
good games
2 guys that I'm good friends with. They've both bought. One's bought Looney Tunes. The other one's bought Texas. Okay. So we'll be able to, whenever they get to Australia, we'll be able to compare them. But I think it's interesting because what Spooky are doing with games, you don't necessarily have to have played them to buy one.
Yeah.
They're just appealing and they're loaded. They do a good job advertising them. They do a good job on the release. They grab good themes. And I guess they're smart because they're going, well, hold on, not everyone's going to want a Texas. The other half will want a Looney Tunes or vice versa. Funny enough, the guy that bought Texas is a big fan of Halloween. I've never played Halloween, and he still thinks that's one of the better games. And that his daughter, for instance, doesn't even like horror films, and she reckons it's her favorite game.
It's packed. Halloween is packed.
Yeah. 4 playfields or something. Hasn't it got 4 upper playfields?
I can't remember. It's a lot. It's at least 3. Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
And the top one, there's a lot of shots on that top playfield on Halloween. A lot.
It'll be interesting to see what Spooky do next because they there was a rumor they've got Evil Dead, Beetlejuice,
right,
Goonies,
wow,
and Sonic.
Yeah, I mean Goonies is the one for me. Anyone that gets Goonies, I don't know. I've never been a watcher of funny enough of horror films. The only horror film I've ever really watched. So I'm not going to count The Omen. I don't think The Omen counts. It's more of a thriller, The Omen. The Ring. What are you saying?
That's your favourite porno, sorry.
It is. It is.
Lord. One ring to rule them all.
Hey, as there you go. You've destroyed a ring on Lord of the Rings. It's you've thrown me now. It's actually one of your mob, actually, Wolf Creek.
Yeah.
Have you seen Wolf Creek?
Yeah, of course.
Right, okay. Yeah. That's some film. But aside from that, I don't know horror genre. So I've never watched Halloween. I've never watched Evil Dead. Never watched any of the stuff. I just haven't.
But Goonies, I just want to hear a pinball machine go, "Hey, you guys!"
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it would just be magic. Whoever can do that. This would be magnificent. I do.
Do you feel that Taz on Looney Tunes should have spun faster?
I didn't think about it until you mentioned it, but I don't care about this stuff. I got to say, I don't any of it. I've not. I'm sort of at peace with pinball at the moment. There have been times when I have been annoyed with pinball, but I'm very much at peace with it at the moment. And people can do what they want to do. I don't mind.
That's a good way of looking at
it. There is a machine for me, and I'm so lucky. I'm really happy, to be able to test these games out and find what I want. But even just not that, there's games that have been and gone, like Dolly Parton. That game is so much fun for me, and it had to come back. So I'm really lucky to have a game like that. I consider myself lucky to have found a game in Deadpool that I like so much that I will never get bored of that game. I can't get bored of it. I cannot play it enough times. I just love it. I love it. So I feel sort of blessed really with that.
I feel the same with, to be honest, Bond. I hated Bond when it came out.
Yeah.
And the shots are very hard to make because of that side little 3 ramp thing. But
I know what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, the new code, as stupid as it sounds, has made the game easier to play, and the ramps haven't changed. Nothing's changed. It's just the code's changed. But I could never hit. I think no more than 30 million points on Bond, and I'm averaging 250 million now.
Right.
And I still think it's the best game Stern's ever made now. Even though I've got Jaws and, things like Deadpool, and there's some great games Stern have made. I still think Bond is the greatest Stern game ever.
Why?
I think it just ticks all the boxes. I think the theme, the colors, the lights, the shots, the code, the music, the call outs. I just think it ticks all the boxes.
I'll need to get a bit of time on a James Bond. Again, I've played it a handful of times. I've barely played it.
Get a premium, play a premium, spend some time on it, and you'll see why.
Yeah. Well, I will do. I'll definitely do that. No, that's interesting. Again, that's another one, and that's what I mean. We're lucky. We're so lucky at the moment to have these games. So yeah, the fact that Taz might not spin as fast, I don't care. It's like with the guns thing on John Wick. I don't care.
Forget about it.
I didn't. People said there's too much pink on Elton John. I don't care. It's all fine. With the stuff. And the other thing, toppers, people, get upset about toppers and stuff like that. I can't literally had to take the toppers off these games to get them in here. I just don't care. I just don't care because I can't have them on here anyway. I do, I think that Cactus Canyon one is amazing, by the way.
Mm.
But even if I had it, I couldn't have it on here anyway. So I don't, honestly, I don't care. I think I'm less fussy than I used to be as well, Enzo, to be honest with you. With a lot of the stuff, I just think there's so much choice out there now.
Yeah.
I think if you're waiting around for your perfect pinball machine, it will never be there. But if you can, so I feel really lucky to have almost found TNA, which is quite possibly the most annoying game. It's not the most annoying, no, sorry, not the most. It's one of the most annoying games I think I've played. But I tell you what, I press that button again. Then me and my son keep playing doubles, and it just seems so linear, the code. So then we play in this co-op mode as well. We're just trying to get as many reactors. You basically want reactor 1, reactor 2, reactor 3, reactor 4, reactor 5. That's it. There's little bits, there's mystery stuff, and there's this, that, and the other. But inherently, what you're trying to do is destroy the reactors. And I think there's 9 of them. I don't know. I certainly haven't got that far. But it is so linear. And I'm really pleased to have found another game that I can play when the dinner's on or something like that. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty lucky at the moment. But that's one of the reasons why I think I'm ready for Lord of the Rings to come back, because it is my favorite theme. It'd be in and amongst my favorite games. Like Deadpool, like James Bond there, George Gomez, of course. I just think it's Lord of the Rings for me is a work of genius, but it's a long ass game. And you know what? There's sometimes when I have put the dinner on and I need to have a quick 5-minute game. Then TNA is great for that. Dolly Parton's great for that. I've got against that. But there's sometimes where I might think, you know what? I'm going to play pinball for an hour, and that's Lord of the Rings. And to try and get all the fellowship over the bridge and the Mines of Moria and things like that, and try and get to, as I mentioned, destroy the ring, there and back again, and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
looking forward to playing Lord of the Rings. There's one in here locally that has been fully restored. It has a brand new playfield in it. A few years ago, he managed to get a brand new playfield from Stern. So it's never been played on. I'm very, very keen to see and play that, because I've actually never played it before. So,
well, give yourself time.
Yeah.
Try and make sure, I don't know how much you can control, but try and make sure it's not too noisy. I'm
going to bring it home and try it.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to bring it home. Because he's taken it to the techies just to check over. Because like I said, since it's been restored, it's got all the mods on it and the figures, and the whole cabinet's brand new. The playfield's brand new. It's never been played on. So
wonderful.
I'm really, really, because I love Lord of the Rings. It's one of my favorite franchises.
Sure.
And I've heard it in action. Like, the call outs and the music, it's very atmospheric and all that. So I'm really hanging out for that.
Yeah. There's something a lot of people, and I think they've done a really good job on John Wick getting Ian McKellen to Ian McShane to do the call outs on it. I think that's really good.
Oh yeah.
But to actually have the movie stuff on there, and there's a bit on it when Saruman is on one of the modes, can't quite remember what it is now, but he's out there, he said, "There's a new power is rising," and you hear all the wargs and the Urukai are chanting in the background, and it is, wow, okay, all right.
Atmospheric.
It is atmospheric. Is it a pinball call out? Possibly not, but they've used it in there, and they've got all the Ian McKellen sayings in there and stuff like that, and it is really, really well done. And I think
you know why?
If everybody is in it, basically everyone is in it.
It's a George Gomez game.
It's a George Gomez game, and it's as I said, for quite some time, my favourite designer.
Yeah.
He really, really, really is. The only other thing I would say with Lord of the Rings is I'd love to redesign the playfield. Obviously, I don't mean that. Obviously, the inserts got to stay in there, and obviously what they mean, but not have those photoshopped images on there. I'd love to get a redesigned, Chris Frenchy to redesign the Lord of the Rings playfield. I'd get a custom one. I really would.
Yeah.
I really would. I'd get a custom one. I'd make it, and there's someone that's got a lovely. My old one had a beautiful back glass as well. Make it all about the ring, if you pardon the expression, rather than the stars of the movie, But I love them for the call outs and all that stuff I said, but I'm talking about the artwork.
Yeah.
With the elven writing and whatnot. There's so much landscape stuff to have on there, like the Mines of Moria and Rivendell and stuff like that. It's and the Shire. There's so much stuff that you can have on there. I don't necessarily need to see a picture of Elijah Wood on the playfield and stuff like that. But as much as I love the stuff in the movie, so yeah, I think that was if I had the time and the inclination and the money. Well, I've got the inclination. If I had the time and the money, I'd definitely look to get that redesigned, because I think we won't be seeing a Vault edition for Lord of the Rings from Stern. No. I would suspect that would not be one that they would do. Anyway, mate. Anything else? Anything we're missing? Do you think?
No, there's rumours of things coming out, the next Stern titles, and
we can do that. We can do that on another video, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll do another video. There's that pretty much I think we've covered. I think it's hats off to Stern for releasing John Wick and having them out in the field within 48 hours. I think that's impressive, honestly. Yeah. Like, not many companies can pull that off.
No.
And the fact that, like, there's already one in Australia, there's already one in the UK, like that's an impressive feat. And within 24 hours, everyone had them. Like, there was people posting, pubs and steakhouses in the USA. They all had their pros. Within like 48 hours, it was nuts.
I think what they were really smart with as well, Stern, was they got a sort of someone that works in that industry. They got a load of non-pinball streamers in. Well, not streamers, influencers, basically. From outside of pinball to come in and do that. Smart move, smart move. Really.
Look, I think it is, because it appeals to a new demographic. Like the guy that they criticised, that he has a YouTube channel that is dedicated to arcade one-up machines. Why is he doing it? Well, at the end of the day, that's trying to bring in a whole new demographic of players. Nobody wants to listen to the same old. Like I think there's a lot of toxic content, and I think it's time for a change and a shift, because I don't watch a lot of that toxic crap. So, and obviously Stern is sick of it as well. So,
well, I didn't even know. I didn't know there had been a back. I honestly, I didn't know. I just know that there were new people doing it. As I've not overly been involved past 3 or 4 months. As you know, I've been pretty much out of pinball, really. So I didn't know any of that. I just looked at it, and it's something.
Oh,
as I say, it's something we see because I do sports YouTube and sports stuff. It's something that we do.
It was heavily.
You bring outside people in. You always do it. It's what you do.
Yeah, it was heavily criticised. There was a lot of negativity around it. There was a lot of people, shedding a tear over it. But that's the way they want to do business. They're entitled to do business their way, and I think it was a smart move.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. That being said, from a selfish point of view, I still want to go over and see Dutch pinball. I don't. I don't want some snotty TikToker turning up there instead of me.
No, you know what it comes down to? I think it comes down to the quality of person. Let's just put it that way. Well, if you wear your heart on your sleeve, you'll get an invite anywhere, mate.
Well, hey, look, mate. What can you do? I'm back in the game, mate. Back in the game. Back in the and I'm really loving my pinball as well at the moment. Really, really,
just therapeutic.
It's so therapeutic, and every game, I'm really enjoying. Well, it's not every game has its merits. There are some crap games. Let's be perfectly honest. But you know what? It's cool, as I say. Just to get in, just to play a few games with Dolly Part, and pinball is great. Pinball is such a cool game. And as I say, even that, and I don't mean to demean it. That Barry's big ass barbecue challenge is a very simple game. But you know what? I could play that for 10 minutes and okay, I'm going to go, I honestly, it's pinball. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to become the pit boss. And if I've got to do, I'm going to build the burger or do whatever I've got to do. It's pinball. Do you know what I mean? And 2 ramps, simple ramps, easy to hit. Come on, and let's play a bit. Let's do a bit. And like yourself, you got some great games there. You were talking about Foo Fighters earlier. Yeah, what a great game, New York. I think it's the New York one. It's the yellow one. Rip the spinner, and then cash it in. You got that risk. What do I do? Do I cash it in or do I rip the spinner again? The answer is you rip the spinner again. If you can get that, and like the little targets on the side.
Mm-hmm.
If you can hit both of those, then you get, I think, double on your next shot.
Yep.
Oh, honestly, it tempts you into doing stuff. It's a really
Danger's done an awesome job on that.
It really has. I think it might be their best game in a little while, actually. And I was lucky to have one, but I mean, I was very down on Stern for quite a while, but I look at them and you know what? They do some good games, they do some average games, they do some bad games. But I'll tell you something, that their good games are still really, really good. They really are. I can't. It's going to be a good game that stops me getting Jaws. I'll tell you that much.
Jaws is. Look, Keith has done a fantastic job, and I think the code's even better now, and it's already very good. It is already at a level where Bond has taken a while to get to in such a short time. It is very good.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor and get it.
Well, as I say, I'm still just going to take my time on it. I wish. Do you know what I wish you knew? I wish you knew with pinball. I understand why they won't tell you what their next release is, but I wish they would say. I wish Jersey Jack could say, "Oh, my next release is in December," and then everyone else. I would just wish that you knew.
Well,
because if it was Harry, if I knew Harry Potter was coming out, not even that's a dream theme for me, but I know it's going to be. I just know it's going to be good. If Harry Potter's coming out in October, for instance, again, things change a little bit, don't they? Because I do.
There is a bit of pattern with releases. We kind of get an announcement, and then there's when the next announcement, especially with Stern, when there's like. 2 or 3 a year, when there's an announcement, but yes, and there's rumors that we know that it may be whatever that title is going to be because things get leaked and that.
Yeah.
So I guess there is a way of knowing, but it's a never ending game then, because then you're kind of like, well, what's the next one?
Yeah.
And then you're like, let me hold off. What's the next one? And it's kind of like, mate, it's just.
Well, this is it. Look, we're both very blessed, aren't we? You've got some lovely games behind you there. I'm in a lovely position of being able to test out these great games, which gives me an opportunity to really know what I like and what I don't like.
Yeah.
And those really, really important, and particularly with times at the moment, pinball is expensive. There's no doubt about it, and certainly, the second-hand market in the UK is pretty bad at the moment. Actually,
yeah, same here.
Really,
yep.
Prices dropped
a lot, and I think that's the norm now. I think people are naive to think. Let's put it this way, and I was saying this at the tournament on Thursday night. I do a lot of audio-visual stuff and sell amplifiers and speakers, and it has always been like this, where you open a pair of $10,000 speakers, they're worth $5,000 now.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Or you buy a car for $80,000. As soon as you drive it out, it's worth 60, right?
Yep.
It's naive for people to think that you unbox a premium and you're going to get that is worth $15,000, and that a year later you're going to get $15,000.
Yeah.
Those days are gone. That was just COVID. And in some instances, you got $18,000 because
yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a little bit, wasn't there? Yeah.
But it is naive now to not think that you're going to lose $2 or $3 grand, and people get pissed off if they're losing $2 or $3 grand.
But there was a time before COVID, Enzo. This is the thing. There was a time before COVID where you could buy a Turtles, and you might buy that Turtles for $6.5 grand, but you would be able to sell it for $6 grand, and you'd have a nice bit of time on it. And you know what? And a lot of the other titles, you'd be fine, because then you could go and buy an Aerosmith for $5.5, or you go and try out the other Spike 2 games. I think the problem is now, because
cost of living's killing it.
The cost of living's killing it. The prices went up and they haven't come down. The odd thing is, sort of, if I go to my local sort of builder's warehouse, so to speak, there was a point where like an 8x4 sheet of ply was 50 pounds during COVID, just after COVID. It's now back down to 25 pounds. So actually prices have come down a lot, and I don't think the pin prices have. So I know pinball machines a lot more than just a bit of timber, but a lot of prices on a lot of stuff has started to come down now. I don't think they have.
Well, we in audio visual, I've seen no price decreases. We actually keep getting price increases.
Really?
And they keep using COVID as an excuse that things are not available, and still they're making their own parts now and all this other rubbish. So I think at the end of the day. Again, I think people need to realize that this is just the norm now, and your $15,000 Elvira is not worth $15,000; it's worth $13,000, right?
That's
but put it this way, right? Even if you've lost $2,000 and you've had it for a year, right? $2,000, what's that? That's £800, something like that, £900, right? In a year, have you really lost that money though? If you divide that by
I think you're losing more than I think you're losing more than that though now, and I think that's the thing. And and I think with the cost of living, I think it is a little bit much. And I do think it's stagnated.
But even
I think at £500, 600, you were fine. I think when you start going over £1,000, I think it's hard for people to afford now. So I think more than ever, you have to be really sure what you buy new in box. Make sure that you're going to want that, and you're going to be so. And never mind about thinking I'm going to get rid of it in a year. You almost, that's why your Deadpools, and I use that as my example because it's like my forever pin. They're priceless, because actually I don't want to sell it. There will be no. So it almost doesn't matter what it cost, because I'm not selling it. There's no money going to be lost on the thing.
Well, this is my point. My point's being, though, even if you've lost $2,000 or $3,000 after a year, let's just say, right? I don't see that as a loss, because you've got a lot of enjoyment out of it. And if you divide $2,000 by 365 days, that's not a lot of money. You use things up, right?
What is
Do you know what I mean?
What is $2,000?
Oh, fuck, you want me to calculate it?
I don't know. I'm just winding you up. I'm just winding you up. You said it's not a lot.
It's $5.50, right? A day. That you're losing but you're using that machine, right? You use stuff, it wears out. You use a car, it wears out. You use things, it wears out. You buy coffee, it wears out. You got to buy coffee again, right? I think to use something for a year and only you lose $5 a day on it, there's nothing wrong with that.
How much coffee are you buying a day, by the way?
Well, mate, I drink a lot of coffee.
Do you?
Yeah, no cup of teas in my house. But
no, there's a lot of tea here.
Yeah, no. Tea bagging in your house?
Always.
Always?
Yeah.
No, espresso in my house. I go through probably about 6 or 7 pods a day at home.
Okay.
Yeah, not between me and my missus. I'll probably have 4. She probably has 2, 3. So
milk in there?
I have almond milk. I'm one of those hipsters that doesn't drink. I stopped drinking normal milk a few years ago. It helped me lose a little bit of weight, and it was better for me. But
would you have like squirrel milk or something in it?
No, almond. You can milk anything with nipples, mate. Anything with nipples can be milked now.
It's very hard to milk a squirrel, to be fair.
Well, yeah, I could try it. No almond milk for me. I normally have espressos, but if I got to have something, it's a beautiful long macchiato with almond milk.
A sugar or a bit of caramel in there?
No, I'm sweet enough, mate.
Okay.
I just dip my finger in there.
Excellent. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Burn your finger.
Burn my finger. Mate, it's been great. It's been a long time, and I know we've got some good videos coming up.
Yeah, brilliant, mate.
And more videos coming up. So we'll call it a night. It is 1 a.m. over here.
Oh, mate, yeah, listen, you've been a trooper. Sorry. Enzo had to wait. I sorted my internet out and everything. So,
I'm wide awake.
Well, you go to bed, mate. Go to bed. Have one more cheeky game.
Yeah, I probably will, actually. I'll go play my ball.
Yeah, good man. Enzo, thank you very much. Everybody else, keep your eye on the channel. Stick a thumbs up on it if you'd like. It helps the algorithm when somebody is looking for a pinball video. If you've stuck a thumbs up on it, shared it, subscribed, then possibly they get this one, and they'll get to see some really dodgy gameplay on John Wick. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.